I'm Anna, and I want to share my story. Maybe it'll help someone out there. So, here's how it all started. I met Alex through my cousin, David. David had this idea that Alex and I would be perfect for each other. Alex was charming and seemed genuinely nice. We hit it off, and after dating for a year, Alex proposed. I was thrilled and couldn't wait to start our life together. David was all smiles about it. "Anna, you and Alex are like a match made in heaven," he'd say whenever we met up. Our wedding was beautiful, surrounded by family and friends. Everything felt perfect. Right after the wedding, Alex suggested we move in with his mother, Ellen. He said it'd be good for us financially, and Ellen needed company after her husband passed away. I wasn't sure at first, but Alex was convincing. At first, living with Ellen was fine. She was nice enough, and we got along pretty well. I tried to help around the house and make things comfortable for everyone. 6 months later, Alex brought up the idea of me quitting my job. "Anna, I've been thinking. Maybe you should quit your job and focus on the house and helping my mom," Alex suggested one evening. "Quit my job? But I like my job, Alex," I replied, feeling a bit uneasy. "I know, but it would be better for all of us. Mom could use more help, and you'd have more time for the house," he insisted. So, I quit my job as an accountant. It was a tough decision because I enjoyed my work, but I thought it was the right thing to do for our family. I wanted to be a good wife and help Alex and Ellen as much as I could. In the beginning, it seemed okay. I kept busy with housework and spent a lot of time with Ellen. We cooked together, and I tried to learn more about her and Alex's family traditions. I missed my job, but I told myself it was worth it for the sake of our family. Alex seemed happy with the arrangement too. "See, Anna? This is working out well. We're all getting along better, and the house is running smoothly," Alex said, looking pleased. "Yeah, I guess it's not so bad," I agreed, trying to stay positive. As the months went by, I tried my best to keep things running smoothly at home. I focused on making Alex and Ellen happy, even though I sometimes missed my old life and the independence my job gave me. But then, little by little, things started to change. Ellen became more demanding, and Alex's attitude towards me shifted. It was like they both started seeing me differently, more like a housemaid than a wife or daughter-in-law. One morning, I was in the kitchen making breakfast. Ellen walked in and frowned at the sight of me. "Anna, did you forget to dust the living room? It's a mess in there," she said, her tone sharp. "I did dust it, Ellen. I'll do it again after breakfast," I replied, trying to keep my voice calm. "Well, it doesn't look like it. You need to be more thorough," she snapped back, not hiding her irritation. When Alex came home that evening, Ellen wasted no time in complaining about me. "Alex, you need to talk to Anna. She's not keeping the house clean enough," Ellen said, her voice dripping with annoyance. "Anna, what's going on? Why isn't the house clean?" Alex asked, looking at me with a frown. "I cleaned the house, Alex. I don't know what else to do," I said, feeling frustrated and helpless. "Just do a better job. We can't have Mom upset like this," he replied, his tone dismissive. I felt like I was walking on eggshells all the time, trying to avoid Ellen's criticism and Alex's disappointment. No matter how hard I tried, it was never enough. One day, Ellen decided to have some friends over for lunch. She didn't give me much notice, and I scrambled to prepare everything. "Anna, I need you to serve lunch to my friends. Make sure everything is perfect," Ellen ordered, not bothering to ask if I was okay with it. When her friends arrived, I served them lunch and tried to be as polite as possible. But I could feel their eyes on me, judging me. "Is this your daughter-in-law, Ellen? She seems a bit flustered," one of her friends remarked, not bothering to lower her voice. "Yes, she's still learning how to manage everything," Ellen replied, casting me a disapproving look. I wanted to disappear. After they left, Ellen wasted no time in complaining to Alex. "Anna was so slow and disorganized today. Her cooking wasn't even that good," she said, shaking her head. "Anna, what the hell happened? Mom said you messed up lunch, Alex demanded, his face red with anger. I did my best, Alex. I was just trying to keep up with everything, I replied, my voice shaking. Well, it wasn't good enough. You need to step it up, he shouted, making me feel like a failure. Things kept getting worse. Ellen's criticisms became more frequent, and Alex's temper grew shorter. I started to dread each day, wondering what I'd be criticized for next. One weekend, I tried to take a break and spend some time for myself. I wanted to read a book and just relax for a bit. Ellen found me sitting in the living room, book in hand. Anna, what are you doing? There's laundry that needs to be done, she said, glaring at me. I just wanted a little break, Ellen. I'll do the laundry right after, I replied, feeling my face flush. No breaks until all the work is done. Get to it, she snapped, her eyes cold. When Alex got home, Ellen didn't waste any time in telling him about my laziness. Anna, what the hell? You can't just sit around all day. There's work to do. Alex yelled, his voice booming. I wasn't sitting around all day, Alex. I just took a short break, I tried to explain, feeling my heart pound. No more breaks. Just do your damn job, he shouted, making me feel small and worthless. I started to feel like a prisoner in my own home. I was constantly on edge, waiting for the next criticism or outburst. I missed my job, my friends, and the sense of independence I used to have. 2 years after our wedding, I had a beautiful daughter, Lily. She became my world, my reason to keep going. I found so much comfort in her. I spent all my time caring for her, trying to shield her from the chaos around us. But things were getting worse with Alex. His temper was growing, and he was getting more aggressive. One evening, when Lily was 5, everything hit a new low. Alex came home angry about something, I don't even remember what. Anna, why the hell is this house such a mess? He shouted as he walked in. I cleaned it, Alex. I've been taking care of Lily all day too, I replied, feeling the familiar knot of fear in my stomach. Your cleaning isn't good enough. You're useless, he yelled, his face red with rage. Before I could say anything, he grabbed my arm and shoved me hard. I lost my balance and fell to the floor, hitting my side against the table. The pain was sharp, and I screamed. Mommy! Lily cried out, running towards me. Alex turned to her, his face still twisted with anger. Go to your room, Lily, he barked. Lily stood there, frozen, and then she started to stutter. Mommy, are you okay? I looked at her, my heart breaking. It's okay, baby. Mommy's okay, I said, trying to soothe her, but I could see the fear in her eyes. After that night, Lily's stuttering didn't go away. I took her to a psychologist, hoping to help her, but even after 2 years, there was little improvement. It killed me to see her like that, knowing it was because of what she'd seen. I knew Lily was watching everything, absorbing it all. She was learning from the way Alex treated me, and I was terrified she'd think this was normal, that this was how families were supposed to be. But I felt trapped. Alex had made it clear many times that everything, the house, the money, it was all his. He'd told me more than once that if I tried to leave or filed for divorce, he'd take Lily away from me. I couldn't risk losing her. She was my everything, the reason I got up every day and faced the hell my life had become. So, I stayed. I endured the shouting, the pushing, the constant fear. I kept quiet, thinking it was the only way to keep Lily safe with me. One day, I got a call from my cousin David. Anna, I have some bad news. Your mom passed away, he said gently. I felt my heart drop. I hadn't spoken to my mom in years, because Alex forbade it. I needed to go to her funeral, to say goodbye. I went to Alex, trying to stay calm. Alex, my mom passed away. I need to go to the funeral, I said, my voice trembling. He didn't even look up from his newspaper. No, you're not going anywhere. We don't have money for that, he said coldly. I felt the tears streaming down my face. I couldn't believe he was being this cruel. Alex, please. She was my mom. I have to go. I pleaded, my voice breaking. No. And that's final. You stay here and take care of the house and Lily, he said, turning back to his papers. I felt a surge of anger and sadness. I couldn't believe he was being so heartless. I knew I had to go, no matter what he said. I went to Lily's room and gently woke her up. Sweetie, we're going on a little trip. Be very quiet, okay? I whispered. Okay, Mommy, she said, her voice sleepy and confused. That night, after everyone was asleep, I packed a small bag for Lily and me. I took my savings and quietly slipped out of the house with Lily. We got in the car, and I started driving towards my hometown. My heart was pounding, but I knew I had to do this. We arrived early the next morning. I was exhausted but relieved to be away from Alex, even if just for a while. We checked into a small motel and got a little rest before the funeral. The farewell was split into 2 parts, one for family and one public. The family farewell was emotional. I hadn't seen my relatives in years, and there were a lot of tears and hugs. I felt a mix of sadness and relief being around them. During the service, my phone rang. It was Alex, of course. I accidentally hit the speaker button, and his angry voice echoed through the room. Anna, get your ass back home right now, or I swear to God, I'll file for divorce and take Lily away, he shouted. Everyone turned to look at me, their faces showing a mix of shock and pity. I felt my face burning with embarrassment. I quickly turned off the speaker and mumbled, I'm at my mom's funeral, Alex. We'll talk later. Then I hung up. For the rest of the service, I felt a knot of shame and anger in my stomach. I couldn't believe he'd humiliated me like that in front of everyone. But I also felt a strange sense of clarity. I knew I couldn't keep living like this. After the service, David came up to me. Anna, you can't go back to that. You deserve better, he said, handing me a piece of paper with a lawyer's number on it. Call this lawyer. He can help you. I looked at the paper, feeling a mix of fear and hope. Maybe this was my chance to change things. Thank you, David, I said, feeling tears in my eyes. We spent the night at the motel again. I didn't sleep much, but for the first time in a long time, I felt a spark of hope. I was scared, but I knew I had to take this chance. For Lily and for myself, I had to find a way out. That morning at the hotel, after my mom's funeral, I woke up with a new resolve. I knew I couldn't keep living in fear and letting Alex control my life. My mom had left me her house and a good amount of money. It was a lifeline, a chance to start over. I looked at the phone number David gave me, the lawyer who could help with my situation. I knew I had to act, for Lily and for myself. Lily, being with me during the funeral, had almost stopped stuttering, and I wanted to keep that progress going. I took a deep breath and dialed the lawyer's number. Hello, Mr. Thompson? This is Anna. I'd like to schedule a consultation, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Of course, Mrs. Anna. Can you come in this afternoon? He replied. Yes, I'll be there, I confirmed, feeling a mix of fear and determination. After dropping Lily off at David's place, I headed to the lawyer's office. I felt nervous but ready to take this step. Mr. Thompson was a kind man, and he welcomed me warmly. Mrs. Anna, tell me everything, he said, his voice calm and reassuring. I told him about the years of control, the threats, and the violence. He listened carefully, taking notes. We need solid evidence of the abuse, both physical and emotional, he explained. Record everything. Keep a detailed journal. I nodded, feeling a plan forming. I'll do that. I'll record every incident and write down everything, I promised. After the meeting, I went straight to buy a new smartphone. It felt like a small act of rebellion, a step towards taking back control. I set it up with a secure passcode and tested the recording function. I wanted to be ready for anything. Feeling more prepared, I returned to David's house to pick up Lily. She looked happier and more relaxed than I'd seen her in a long time. Ready to go home, sweetie? I asked, giving her a hug. Yes, Mommy, she replied, smiling. We drove back to Alex and Ellen's house. I felt a mixture of dread and determination. I knew I was walking back into a hostile environment, but this time I was ready to fight back. As soon as I walked in, Ellen was there, glaring at me. Where the hell have you been, Anna? Do you think you can just waltz in and out as you please? She snapped. I was at my mother's funeral, Ellen. I told Alex. I replied, keeping my voice steady. Well, you're back now. Get to work. This house won't clean itself, she said, turning away with a huff. I took a deep breath, turned on my new phone, and slipped it into my pocket. I started recording, determined to capture everything. I went about my chores, documenting every harsh word and insult. When Alex came home, he was furious. Anna, what the hell were you thinking? Leaving like that without my permission? He shouted. I went to my mom's funeral, Alex. I had to go, I replied, my heart pounding. You don't do anything without my say-so. Do you hear me? He yelled, his face red with anger. Give me your phone and purse. I handed him my old phone, glad of my foresight. I wasn't going to let him intimidate me anymore. I was gathering evidence, building my case, and planning my escape. That night, after everyone was asleep, I sat down with my journal. I wrote down everything that had happened since I got back, every insult, every threat. I felt a sense of purpose, a determination to see this through. The days that followed were tough. Alex and Ellen were as hostile as ever, but I kept recording and documenting. I was building my case, piece by piece, readying myself for the fight ahead. At dinner one night, Ellen started her usual tirade. She looked at me with disdain and said, "You're nothing but a walking girl, leaving the house without Alex's permission. Disgraceful." I felt a surge of anger. "Ellen, don't insult me in front of my daughter," I said, trying to keep my voice calm but firm. Alex's face turned red with anger. "How dare you raise your voice at my mother?" he yelled, pushing me hard. I stumbled but didn't fall. He then swung his hand towards me, eyes blazing with fury. "You live here on bird rights, Anna. Don't forget that," he shouted. I took a deep breath, feeling a strange calm wash over me. "I want a divorce, Alex," I said clearly. His face turned a deeper shade of red, and he screamed, "You belong to me. You'll be my property until death." I wasn't scared this time. I had my phone in my pocket, recording everything. I knew I had proof. For the first time, I felt a sense of control. Over the next week, I continued to record every insult and threat from both Alex and Ellen. Each time they belittled me, I quietly turned on my new phone's recorder. Ellen didn't hold back. "You're worthless, Anna. Can't even keep a house clean," she sneered. I noted it all down in my journal. Every insult, every harsh word, went into my records. I knew this was crucial for my case. Alex wasn't any better. "You think you're tough now? You'll never leave me. You're nothing without me," he'd shout. I stayed calm, recording his words and adding them to my growing list of evidence. It was exhausting, but I knew it was necessary. One day, I caught Ellen berating me in the kitchen. "You're a disgrace to this family, Anna. Leaving the house like a tramp," she spat. I recorded her words, feeling more determined than ever. I knew I was building a strong case, one that would protect Lily and me. That week was tough, but I felt a new sense of purpose. I was gathering the evidence I needed to break free. For Lily's sake and for mine, I was determined to see this through. A week after returning from my mom's funeral, I couldn't take the tension at home anymore. I called Mr. Thompson, the lawyer. "Mr. Thompson, it's Anna. I've collected all the evidence. It's getting unbearable here," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Anna, your cousin hired a private investigator to look into your husband. The investigator has some important findings. Can you meet him today?" he replied. "Of course, I'll go right away," I said, feeling a mix of fear and anticipation. I drove to meet the private investigator, feeling nervous but determined. When I arrived, he was waiting with a serious expression. "Anna, I've been looking into your husband's activities. He's involved in fraudulent schemes and has ties to criminal activities. The police have been watching him, but they didn't have enough evidence until now," he explained, handing me a folder. "This folder has everything. It's your freedom folder," he said. I took the folder with trembling hands, feeling the weight of its importance. "Thank you. This means everything to me," I said, my voice shaking. I got back in the car and drove home, my mind racing with thoughts of what this meant for Lily and me. When I pulled into the parking lot, Alex was there, his face twisted with anger. "Where the hell have you been, Anna? Get in the house now," he shouted, his eyes full of menace. I felt a surge of fear, but knew I had to stay calm. I didn't get out of the car. Instead, I called David. "David, I'm at home, and Alex is furious. I have the evidence. Can you call the police?" I said, my voice trembling. "Stay in the car, Anna. I'll call them right now," David replied. Alex, seeing I wasn't moving, yanked the car door open and dragged me out. "You don't listen. You think you can defy me?" he screamed, pulling me towards the house. At that moment, the police arrived, lights flashing. I collapsed on the asphalt, overwhelmed by the tension, and burst into tears. The officers rushed over, separating Alex from me. They arrested Alex and took the folder with the evidence. I sat there, watching as they led him away, feeling a mix of relief and disbelief. After the police took Alex away, Ellen was furious. She stormed into the house, her face twisted with rage. "You ungrateful woman. We took you in, and this is how you repay us?" she spat, her voice full of venom. I didn't respond. I knew it was pointless. I packed our things quickly, gathering what little I could. Lily clung to my side, sensing the tension but staying quiet. With our bags packed, I took Lily's hand and walked out of that house, feeling a sense of relief wash over me. I rented a small apartment nearby, just enough for the two of us. It was modest, but felt like a palace compared to the nightmare we'd left behind. I focused on preparing for the trial. Mr. Thompson was a huge help, guiding me through the process. He assured me we had a strong case, with all the evidence we had collected. The day of the trial came, and I felt a mix of fear and hope. I walked into the courtroom, holding my head high, determined to fight for my future and Lily's. Mr. Thompson presented all the evidence, the recordings, the journal entries, and the documents from the private investigator. It was overwhelming to relive it all, but I knew it was necessary. When the judge finally spoke, I held my breath. Based on the evidence presented, I grant the divorce and full custody of the child to Mrs. Anna. The defendant is also ordered to provide financial compensation for moral and physical damages and pay alimony for life. Since Alex and Ellen didn't have the money to pay the compensation, they had to sell their house. Alex was also sentenced to 5 years in prison for his fraudulent activities and the abuse. Back at home, I told Lily the news in a way she could understand. "Are we safe now, Mommy?" she asked, her eyes wide with hope. "Yes, Lily. We're safe, and we're free to live our lives the way we want," I replied, feeling tears of joy streaming down my face. After the trial, I moved back to my hometown, to my mom's house. It felt like coming home after a long, dark journey. The house was filled with memories and a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. David, my cousin, helped me get a job at a local charity that supports women in difficult situations. It felt good to be helping others who were in similar situations, using my experience to make a difference. Lily adapted quickly to our new life. Without Alex and Ellen's toxic presence, she blossomed. Her stuttering disappeared, and she seemed happier, more confident. One afternoon, 5 years later, I got a call from an unknown number. I hesitated but answered it. "Anna, it's Alex. I want to see my daughter," he demanded, his voice harsh and demanding. I felt a surge of anger. No, Alex. You lost that right. Don't bother us again, I said firmly, and hung up the phone. I looked at Lily, playing happily in the yard, and felt a deep sense of peace. We had come so far, and I was determined to protect our new life. Raising Lily, I focused on teaching her to be strong and independent, to always stand up for herself. I wanted her to grow up knowing her worth, never to be controlled or belittled by anyone.